Hi, everyone. It's good to see you again. Thank you for joining us for the fourth section of the Social Entrepreneurship module, Finding Funding in Networks. So today we're going to dive into a vital aspect of supporting artistic and cultural endeavors, finding funding in networks. Today, together, we're going to explore various opportunities and networks that can provide the necessary support for our initiatives. So I encourage you to think about your own experiences with funding and networks, and we'll share them later in the forum. During this session, the goal is to share insights and resources regarding national and European funding opportunities and networks that exist to help promote artistic and cultural endeavors. We also want to share with you ways to make the most of the resources we already have at hand. Let's get started. First, I'd like for you to think about how familiar are you already with the concepts of bootstrapping or resource leveraging? Are you aware of any funding opportunities and networks available to creative communities and creatives in your community and at the national and European levels? Today, we're going to dive into how to effectively bootstrap and leverage resources that you already have for your creative projects. We're also going to explore the two main sources of funding, market-based funding versus community-based funding. Then we're going to share the EU funding opportunities and networks available to you, and also invite you to share those things that have worked best for you with the community. And finally, we'll touch on strategies to strengthen our creative communities. When we collaborate and share resources with others, we not only elevate our projects, but we also foster a supportive environment for everyone involved. Let's jump right in with lesson 1. When starting and consolidating your own creative business, an entrepreneurial mindset is key to success. As creatives, we have to be able to expand our resources and apply them in new and innovative ways. There are two general concepts here that an entrepreneur can adopt to stretch resources, especially at the beginning of your venture: bootstrapping and resource leveraging. Bootstrapping is a concept that refers to using the resources an entrepreneur has at hand to accomplish your business goals. When first getting started, we usually start off with very little money. Bootstrapping is a proactive attempt to make the most of what we have at hand. Sometimes this means starting off as a volunteer or a side hustle, which was my case in Espacio Geranias, when you are starting to get your venture up and running. When we lack this initial seed funding, this means doing as many tasks as you can on your own, such as creating your own website or keeping your own financial records, and doing your best to stretch the resources you have available to the limit. Here we offer a few examples of bootstrapping skills and techniques. First, we can consider the concept of a loan from friends, family, and fools. This approach not only helps us to secure funds, but it also reinforces our network. Next, you can also think about routines that you can put in place to streamline your operations, such as invoicing. Every minute that you can save on these tedious administrative tasks is a minute that you can also spend on growing your business. Another example is borrowing equipment from colleagues or coordinating bulk purchases with other companies, and this can also lead to substantial cost savings. Finally, don't underestimate the power of doing it on your own, DIY. So you can create your own website or handle your bookkeeping, which can also be both empowering and also financially sustainable. As we reflect on these points, I encourage you to think creatively about how you can leverage resources that you already have. What are some other ways you can tap into the existing assets at your disposal? Do you have any other ideas for leveraging resources? Share them in the comments section in the forum. For lesson 2, we would like to focus on the theory behind funding. So where can we engage in resources, either through market funding versus community-based funding? Here we're providing some examples of basic financial mechanisms that are based on the market. We have traditional bank credit. These are standard loans with interest, typically offering strict conditions. There's also ethical bank credit, which in our case we've used, similar to traditional credit, but it's focused on social and environmental impact. In Spain and in Italy, in Spain, we have the example of Fiare Banca Etica in COP 57. There's also Triodos. And in Italy, there's Fiare Banca Etica. We've left a few of the links here so you can learn more. Another example includes family or community credit, and these are flexible agreements on interest and repayment directly between parties, often with a lower cost than are traditionally used in banks. You can also offer vouchers, which is advancing funding through vouchers that can be redeemable once your business is launched. For example, a bookstore or a gallery can offer a €100 voucher that can be usable after the store's launch. You can also look to investor partners. These are people that are willing to support your business. Traditionally, you have to be able to show a business plan and your model for growth, but this can also be an opportunity if you're looking to establish something at a much larger scale. Here we focus on community based funding options. You may have seen collective crowdfunding platforms. In Spain, for example, we have a crowdfunding platform called Goteo. In the nonprofit sector, there's one called Mi Grano de Arena. You can also look to the support of your community, the people that are close to you and are willing to support you. So, reaching out to colleagues and friends for support, either through voluntary or low paid work. These are all examples from Economistas Sin Fronteras. I invite you to take a look at their website and also their platform, El Nido. I've included a video here as well in this presentation that includes the examples of what ethical banking means and why it's important if you'd like to take a look as well. Regardless of where you are in your entrepreneurship journey, taking the first steps to find funding can always seem overwhelming. In our experience, we suggest starting small. So first, the famous Friends, Family, and Fools, and also maybe a crowdfunding experience to test your ideas. But as your business gets larger and starts to grow, you can explore other options. In our case, in Espacio Geranios, when we needed to make our first large-scale investment for our co-working space, we opted for a mix of family and community credit as well as ethical bank credit. Here, I'd like you to take some time to stop and reflect and think about the funding mechanisms that we just shared and compare them to the traditional bank loans. What are the advantages and disadvantages for your own creative endeavor and at the societal level? Because obviously, all of these have an impact as well as at the societal level. And since everyone's case will be different and it will depend a lot on where you are in your journey and the community that you have around you, which funding mechanisms do you think are the most desirable ones for your own personal project? For lesson 3 of this section, we're going to go into the EU funding opportunities and networks that we're aware of and also invite you to share those that you know of in your community. First, I'd like to share 2 very important mechanisms that exist and that are also related to residencies and other opportunities. So I invite you to be aware of their calls for proposals and the different calls that they have available. The first is Culture Moves Europe. Here, there's the possibility for individual mobility actions, and here they offer financial support to individuals who travel between 7 to 40 days and also groups of people. And this is a rolling call that's available every year between autumn and spring. There's also residency actions, and these are aimed at organizations and established individual artists who regularly organize residencies, are interested in hosting artists as well and cultural professionals. You can check out their website here. We've included it in the presentation. Creative Europe is another great opportunity that's available. It's usually for more established artists, but also freelancers can get involved. I'd encourage you to reach out to your country's national agency to learn more about the eligibility criteria. But Creative Europe has been supporting projects that foster cultural diversity, they promote artistic expression, and boost the economic potential of the creative industries. Here we've included a link to their website. Here we're including 2 examples that we really love and have also used personally from Espacio Geranios. Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs is a cross border exchange program which gives new entrepreneurs the chance to learn from host entrepreneurs, people who have experience running small businesses in other participating countries. This is a great resource to know about if you personally would like to go to another country and learn from a host entrepreneur, but also if you are an entrepreneur and you can host other artists or young entrepreneurs to help you in your business, and especially in those areas where you need support, maybe in areas of administrative tasks or communication. Building community, these are all things that you can create together with your young entrepreneur. And finally, we can't speak highly enough of the European Creative Hubs Network. If you're a leader or a member of a cultural or creative hub, we encourage you to form part of this wonderful peer led network. They seek to enhance the creative, economic, and social impact of hubs around Europe and neighboring countries. In their website, you can take a look at it. It provides a whole bunch of opportunities to exchange, to go and visit other countries, other creative hubs, and to learn more about what people are doing in other places and get inspired. Here, we'd love to hear from you. What are other funding and networking opportunities and resources that you are aware of at the EU level? Please share them with us in the forum. In this next lesson, we'll explore together the vital role that nurturing your creative community plays in expanding your opportunities. Remember, we already talked about what our opportunity horizon is, and this is a great way to continue growing on your journey. Remember that we're not in this alone. In this lesson, we also wanted to share some inspiring examples of artistic and creative communities that we are aware of in our partner countries. You can tap into these networks if you're close by, but you can also search around you and try to find or even build something if it doesn't exist, similar to these communities, to engage with other artists and remind yourself that you don't have to go at it alone. The first is Tetuan Crea. Tetuan Crea is a collective of professionals from different creative backgrounds, nationalities, and disciplines, and they're seeking to transform their neighborhood in Madrid into a dynamic and lively place to live. We also love The Artist and the Others. They're based in both Maastricht and Munich, and they're a nonprofit organization that's working through local, regional, and international projects to support artists and cultural professionals by helping them develop a sustainable career in the cultural and creative field. In Croatia and in Zagreb, we have Colleccionar. This collective was founded by four friends that were trying to navigate the art market in Croatia in search of young and quality artists and work of art that they could afford. They decided to create and launch a digital platform that brings together a large number of promising contemporary Croatian artists in one place and other interested art lovers that are willing to and interested in purchasing works of art. Radiona is a Zagreb makerspace that has hosted and organized workshops, exhibits, hackathons, residencies, and fostered collaboration across art, science, and technology. Contentioner is another Zagreb based nonprofit that also explores the intersection of art, science, and technology through festivals, exhibits, and collaborations. QArt is a pioneering community in Zagreb that's seeking to transform public spaces through artistic interventions and also education and radical inclusivity. We're including all of the links to all of these inspiring cases in the presentation. And Culture Hub Croatia is a nonprofit organization that's based out of Split. They're using education, culture, and creativity to strengthen local communities. We'd love to hear from you. In the forum, we invite you to share all of the creative communities that have enriched you on your journey and that you're aware of in your country, and also at the regional and at the regional, national, and international levels. Just to review, these are the final takeaways that we'd like for you to go with after going through this section together. First, it's important to start small, like we said, with friends, family, and fools, the people that are close to you, maybe a crowdfunding experience or starting off as a side hustle. All of these things are important to be able to launch a creative business. Secondly, we shared with you different EU level programs that you can take advantage of in order to be able to grow. We also invite you to tap in and to build your creative network for support. So, looking for collectives and other inspiring examples in your community so that you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Thank you so much. You've successfully reached the end of this section on finding funding and networks. We'll see you in the next section, which is focused on how to stay organized and how to diminish stress.